in the heart of a sun-kissed village, where red dust danced in the air like secrets carried by the wind. A market pulsed with life. It was no ordinary market. It was a breathing thing, alive with smells, music, and motion. Smoke curled lazily from acropans. Mortars pounded rhythmically in distant corners. Mangoes lay heavy on the trees, casting dappled shade on woven mats below. Bold fabrics flapped like flags of identity. Voices collided, bargaining, joking, shouting, singing. And laughter, especially laughter, echoed through the rows like a kind of music that never stopped. At the center of this chaos stood a woman, unmistakable in voice and presence. Her name was Mama Titi. Her stall was an explosion of red and green, tomatoes plump and shiny, peppers so hot even the flies hovered at a distance. But it wasn't just her goods that drew the crowd. It was her presence. Mama Titi spoke like thunder and moved like a storm. She haggled with flair, cracked jokes that made grown men blush, and carried herself like the unofficial mayor of the market. She was queen, mother, boss, all rolled into one. But behind her, just slightly in the shadow of her larger-than-life energy, stood her daughter, Titi. Where her mother was thunder, Titi was breeze. Quiet, thoughtful, a teenager with wide eyes and a restlessness she couldn't explain. She helped at the stall, sorting pepper, calculating change. But her mind often wandered beyond the confines of their mat and baskets, beyond the market itself. She watched the other children, the uptown kids. They passed in polished shoes and soft perfume, whispering in clipped English, their eyes skipping over her like she didn't exist. Sometimes they laughed. Tomato girl. Market smell. They didn't say it loudly, but they didn't need to. The words found their way into her skin and stayed there. Titi hated that name. She didn't want a smell of pepper or earth. She didn't want hands stained red from grinding pepper with stone. She didn't want to sell, shout, sweat. She wanted out. She wanted to be seen, admired, adored, like them. And that desire, like a tiny seed, had begun to root itself in her chest. Then, on a blistering afternoon when even the flies seemed too tired to buzz, something shifted. It began subtly. The air turned still. The noise of the market dimmed, not gone, just strangely distant, like someone had placed a bowl over the world. And into that hush stepped a man. He was tall, dressed in white, moving like water, smooth, unhurried, untouched by dust. No one saw him arrive. One moment the space was empty. The next, he was there. He carried nothing but a wooden frame. It was a mirror, tall, old, but unbroken. Its frame was carved with strange symbols. The glass shimmered not with sunlight, but with something deeper. It looked back at the world as if it was waiting not to be looked into, but to reveal something already hidden. He set it down at the edge of the market. He said nothing, but people noticed. And when he finally spoke, his voice was calm, not loud, but heavy with weight. Come, he said, see yourself, not as others see you, but as you truly are. The laughter came first, nervous, scoffing. Mirror man, they muttered. Who is this one? Abi, it's Juju, someone whispered. Mama Titi rolled her eyes. We need customers, not riddles. But curiosity is a quiet flame, and it always finds a way to burn. The first brave soul was a young woman, famous in the village for her beauty. People often said her skin was carved from cocoa butter and moonlight. She approached the mirror with confidence, already expecting admiration from the glass. What she saw made her step back. Her face, her flawless, filtered face, was twisted in the mirror, not in form, but in spirit. The eyes that looked back were sharp with envy. Her lips curled with bitterness. Her beauty, once soft, now looked cold. The crowd fell into silence. Then came an old woman, a cleaner. She swept the market paths every morning before dawn. bent, quiet, invisible. People chuckled as she stepped forward, but the mirror told a different story. In her reflection, light poured from her skin. Her wrinkles glowed with joy. Her eyes shimmered with grace. Gasps rippled through the crowd. It was clear now. This was no ordinary mirror. Then came Kola, the golden boy, son of the wealthiest trader. Always clean, always loud. His chain swung. His shoes shone. His laugh boomed through the crowd. He approached the mirror like it owed him thanks. But what he saw silenced him. Gone was the charm. The boy in the mirror was bloated, greedy. His fingers clawed at invisible things. His smile was hollow. His eyes desperate. He stumbled back. The crowd watched. No one laughed. Not even Mama had watched it all, from behind her mother's stall. And the mirror, it saw her. It pulled her. She stepped forward slowly, each breath heavier than the last. Her heart pounded not just from fear, but from guilt. 3 days ago, she had stolen. From her mother. Just enough to buy a trendy blouse. She hadn't even worn it. But she had become someone else that day. Even if only in secret. The mirror met her halfway. She didn't need to touch it. From meters away, her reflection began to vanish. Her features faded. Her light dimmed. Until only a shadow remained. Vague. Wandering. Hollow. And then she ran. Behind the yam shed. She didn't stop until her feet blistered. She collapsed behind the yam shed, among old crates and dry leaves. There she wept. Not for punishment, but for who she was becoming. And in the soft stillness that followed, a voice arrived. Gentle. Weathered. It was Ayarisi, the village elder. A woman who carried the wisdom of centuries in her bones. Her voice did not shout. It simply settled. She didn't ask Titi to explain. She didn't judge. She simply said, even a shadow can find the sun again. Redemption. Titi rose, shaky but lighter. She walked back to the market, back to her mother, back to the pouch. She returned the money, crumpled and tear-soaked. Mama Titi didn't need words. She took one look and burst into loud, theatrical cries. Ah, you want to disgrace me with this kind of honesty? In front of everybody. And then she pulled her daughter into a hug that smelled of sweat and pepper and unconditional love. The market laughed, and clapped, and carried on. The mirror disappears. But when they turned to the stranger's stall, he was gone. The mirror was gone. Only the carved wooden frame remained. And a note, nailed to its center. 7 words. Only when the heart is right will the reflection shine bright. Legacy of the mirror. The market never forgot. Some say the man was a spirit. Others say he was sent by God. But all agreed. The mirror had shown more than faces. It had shown souls. And the people learned that the finest rapper cannot hide a rotten heart, that the loudest voice may cover the weakest truth, that shadows can walk back into light, but only if they choose to. It became a tale told to children, a hush shared under trees, a proverb wrapped in pepper and passed between mothers, because the mirror had never been glass. It had always been truth. And the truth is this: your clothes do not shape your worth. Your wealth does not reflect your wisdom. Your silence, your secrets, your shame, they do not define your future. Only your choices do. Every heart is a mirror, and every day, you choose what it reflects. So when next you stand before a mirror, not the one on the wall, but the one in your soul, ask yourself, do I like what I see? And if not, you can choose again. Please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.